I just want to say congratulations for getting to this step. This is a huge milestone to be able to invest $1,000 a month from your monthly income. Now, today I'm going to kind of show you guys how I invest in the stock market. There are several ways, no one way is the right way, but here I'm going to kind of go over the fundamentals more so you're able to kind of see that how to start from a good fundamental level, and then with more knowledge you're obviously able to kind of diversify, maybe modify your portfolio to meet your needs. So let's dive right in, and this is not financial advice, so please do your own research. But yeah, okay, so investing in the stock market the smart way. So first, we're going to go over the portfolio distribution. Here you have 50% going into the foundational US broad index. Essentially, that's the S&P 500 US, largest 500 companies in the US. So essentially, that should be 50% of your portfolio to kind of give that growth early on. Then you got 35% of growth stocks, growth ETFs. So here you kind of can put either growth stocks like individual stocks, or you can go ahead and just do ETFs here as well, but more high risk, high reward ETFs. Then you can move on to dividend stocks or bonds. Here it's kind of like your stabilizer for the portfolio, so whenever the market crashes it doesn't dip too much, and whenever it goes up as well. It doesn't go up as much as the other ETFs will, but it'll kind of keep your portfolio afloat. Now 5% is crypto. Here you kind of want to use that now as another growth sector, similar to the growth stocks and growth ETF sector. But because crypto is more volatile, we've put it at 5%. When the market does go down, we don't want to experience that huge spike. If you're okay with that, you can increase your stake in that pie by, I would say, no more than 15% if you're really gonna go there. Let's move on. So the first part we're gonna cover is the 50%. That's the foundational US broad index. So we're just gonna go over really three options here. It's more like two. VOO or VFE if you're Canadian. And then this essentially covers the top 500 largest US companies. And then it essentially is the most ideal one for stable long-term growth, and it is one that most people will use. But then you can go on and kind of do the other option of VTI as well, which is a large, mid, and small cap ETF. So it covers a much broader market with 4,000 US companies rather than 500. But it has most maximum diversification. So it allows for less spikes when compared to the VOO or VFE. But it's not that big of a difference, so either one works. It's just preference. Now we have your growth stocks / ETFs. Here you can really go with any of these. It's really up to you and kind of what your risk tolerance is, because these are growth stocks, so they're high risk, high reward. VUG is a long-term growth with a mix of sectors, so this one's more versatile. It has lots of sectors, not just one, whereas when we compare to VGT, it's tech only, so they don't have any other companies besides tech. It's just like your Apple, your Nvidia, your Microsoft, all those high performing tech stocks. And SCHG is essentially another diversified one. It doesn't have as crazy dips when the market in these sectors dip as compared to VGT. And now as we move on to the list, you have QQQM. This is the max growth potential in this entire list, but it has less volatility than VGT, but because they're both mostly in the tech sector, they're very similar in the spikes, but because they're also a bit more diversified with not it being tech only, it allows them to kind of tap into other markets as well. So here, if you're really looking for that high risk, high reward, you could go with QQQM or VGT. But if you're more conservative, you can go with SCHD as a great one, and then VUG is like a secondary, great one as well. So dividend stocks and bonds. Here, I've kind of just put one, SCHD. It is by far the best option for me, and honestly for a lot of people, because it pays a very nice dividend. It pays about 3 to 4% year yield year over year, and it has 11 to 13% annualized return over the past decade, guys. That is very, very high for a dividend stock that also pays out quite a bit in dividends. And because if you do the drip situation here, where you kind of just reinvest those dividends back into the stock, you can really see this dividend stock grow, even though it's such a small portion of your portfolio. But once you get to a point where you're when you're not as risk tolerant, you can kind of put your money in here, because when the markets dip, it doesn't dip too much, but when it does go up, it goes up quite nicely, as you can see, 11 to 13%. Yeah, it's a great pick. I would definitely just do this for dividends, stocks, and bonds. Now we have crypto. Crypto is the most exciting thing on here. Honestly, if you're able to kind of get in at good entry points with crypto, you can make a lot of money here. And I mean a lot, because you can swing trade these if you want to make short-term money, or you can invest into these long-term. But getting in early and getting in at those right prices allows you to kind of do it as a swing trade. But if you don't care and you're more in the long run, that's totally up to you. But you have to be okay with those dips when they do happen, because they do happen, and it ends up being quite a bit. So that's why it's at 5%. It's quite risky. It's essentially like how we have the growth stocks in our portfolio in the stock section, but in this case it's actually more volatile than that. So you have to be risk adverse here and be able to kind of take those dips. But yeah, that's about it. Here's how I would kind of distribute that monthly. VOO or VFV 500 into that, and then VGT or QQQM, because I value tech and I have a vision in that. If you're more conservative, you can go with SCHG or the other one, VUG. And then we have SCHD for the dividend stocks / bonds. Then crypto, $50. Now you can modify this however you want, but this is the most ideal way to do it. If you're more risk adverse and you can take on more risk, then you can put more into the tech sector, VGT or QQQM, and put less in VFV. Or you could get more exposure. Maybe you're more conservative, to put all your money in VOO and SCHD, but you won't experience much growth there. The reason we have VGT and QQQM is because when they go up quite a bit, and it takes our portfolio from nice to really nice, and we want really nice. But yeah, that's it. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.